Do you know, so we'll get started. What's going to happen today is we'll kind of adjust based on what's happened this morning. And we have some time between when we finish here and then go over to the university. And I guess a little bit of a function will be whether or not you get your bus here, right? So without the bus, it's going to be, we're going to be duplicating this. But I guess we'll just have to see how that goes. So what I want to do is introduce Matt Applebaum. Matt is the mayor of the city of Boulder, and you've been mayor 2 years? About a year and a half. So he's going to kick it off, and then we have various representatives from the city that are going to be addressing you on topics that you have interest. So without further ado, why don't I...
Okay, thanks. So I'll keep this pretty short because we're already late. I mean, they always give me a script to read. I never read any script, so we'll see if I get this right. Anyway, welcome. We really appreciate you coming here. Thank you for bringing the snow. We needed it. And I'm sure it's at least of some amusement value to you to have snow. Hopefully you brought some warm clothing. You know, it was, I don't know when you guys got here, it was in the 60s all weekend, of course, but this is perfectly typical for us, that it just bounces around from kind of spring, summer to winter with snow, and then it'll bounce back again in a few days. It's an interesting place to live. But then so is Santa Cruz, and I've been to Santa Cruz a number of times, and it's gorgeous. So I think we have a lot in common in many ways. Anyway, I just wanted to do a couple of opening remarks. Again, I'm not going to try to touch on everything here. For me, at least, even though this is really about the, you were spending a lot of time today on the Innovation Center of the Rockies, a lot of business-related stuff. I think the message for me and for most of us on the City Council is that what makes Boulder the place it is, especially in relation to the economic vitality component, is the amazing quality of life in Boulder. And I have no doubt the same thing is true in Santa Cruz. I mean, you get it. If any place is going to get it, you will. And Boulder, over the many years, has been noted for and continues to be known for just so many of those maybe intangible quality of life aspects that attract the type of people that you need for economic vitality, attract the entrepreneurs, attract the folks that are innovative, attract the folks that want to create businesses here, attract the, I'm not a big fan of this term, but attract the so-called creative class. And they do want to come to Boulder, and they want to come to Boulder because of what we've done. Now, we're not necessarily responsible for the Rocky Mountains. I think those predated us. But we are responsible for, or at least my predecessors are responsible for having the foresight to protect all the area around the city of Boulder with this really quite astonishing open space system. And I think what's really astonishing about it, not just its size, and the size is remarkable. The statistic I normally use is that the actual developed, urbanized area of the city of Boulder is, I don't know, it's something on the order of 12,000, 13,000 acres. And we own 45,000 acres of open space. So the ratio there is really quite remarkable. And then Boulder County, in a more spread out fashion, owns another 90,000 acres of open space. So an immense amount of land has been preserved for environmental reasons, for recreation reasons, and also in Boulder's case for shaping the community. We've chosen to be a compact community, which was very unusual back when this started back in the late 60s, when everybody else in the western United States, and certainly in Colorado, was just sprawling out to the ends of the earth, and sadly still are. Even today, Boulder made the explicit decision to remain this compact city. And that, in very many ways, has driven so much of the rest of the quality of life decisions we make. Because once you're a more compact city, there's a lot of other stuff that can work. And in particular, transportation works better. We've, of course, got a, at least for the United States, I was going to say we have a world-class bicycle system. We do. The rest of the world is ahead of us, but in the United States, Boulder is, I think, one of the platinum bicycle cities, and we've got this phenomenal integrated system of bike paths and pedestrian paths and working on complete streets and working on transportation issues. Obviously, we've done a huge amount in kind of a broad range of sustainability, both in the social arena and also in the environmental arena, and as you'll hear, in the economic vitality arena. So I think that's kind of the main message, is that what has worked for Boulder is not just some narrow focus on any one thing, nor a narrow focus on economic vitality where that's the only game in town. The economic vitality has worked because of our broader focus on all of the sustainability and livability and quality of life goals that we've had for 40 years. That I think is the important message. So the other things that are on here that I'm not supposed to say because they're in bold, but I can tell I'm supposed to say them, is that we're a great place to do business. Yeah, that's true. Again, quality of life issues, the university, if you've got a really good research university, yes, that helps enormously, and CU has grown substantially over the last couple of decades, just in the time I've been in Boulder, and they've also become really a world-class research university as well, with incredible strength in some really key fields, biotechnology, astrogeophysics, whatever that is. There's a whole bunch of stuff that the university is really extraordinary in, and incredibly successful in research dollars as well. And that all spins off into the community. We also, of course, are a location with federal laboratories. So we've got NIST, we've got NOAA in town. They've been here for a long time. We've got huge facilities here. We've got NCAR, which is kind of a pseudo-federal agency, really a consortium of universities that run it. So Boulder's strength is in all sorts of research, especially climate research. We probably have more, I'm sure we do, have more world-class climate scientists in Boulder than any other place on the planet, and that's a big deal these days. For those of you who happen to believe in climate change, which if you come from Santa Cruz, I'm going to assume you do. We also, we do partner with the Chamber of Commerce, we partner with the Boulder Economic Council, we partner with Downtown Boulder Inc., the Boulder Small Business Development Center, and of course the Innovation Center of the Rockies. So the city is actively engaged. We don't spend perhaps as much money on some of these things as other cities do, at least in terms of direct, how would I say this? Direct bribes to companies, is that right? Maybe not. A lot of communities around us, there's, and I'm sure this is true where you are, there is a lot of incentives that are given to companies to come to town. We've really tried to avoid doing that. We think companies that want to come will come anyway, and they'll come for other reasons, not just for monetary incentives. We have a very, very small program relative to our neighboring communities. We do provide some very limited incentives to companies, but it comes with some strings. They have to also be providing something for the community in turn. And we've got a program that's won a number of awards in doing that. But these are pretty small. They're frankly more in the order of a thank you, although for small startup companies they can make a difference. But Boulder's never been in the game of throwing millions of dollars at companies to get them to locate here. We don't consider that to be appropriate. It really wouldn't work for us. But again, you see that around the region. And other than that, there's a few things here about the Innovation Center of the Rockies, but you'll hear a lot more about them. They're a great organization. We do support them, indeed. We work with them, we work with the university collaboratively on many, many issues. We actually have very good relations with the university. That has not always been true in Boulder's history. There's always kind of this tension between cities and universities over any number of issues. But I think it's safe to say in the last decade, and certainly in the last 5-6 years, our relations with the university have been really, really good, and we have worked cooperatively with them on any number of issues to our joint benefit. So I think I'm going to stop there. We've got some presentations for you on a number of topics. I'm not sure we go exactly which ones you'll be most interested in. But we've got some great staff people to give you some insight into a few of the key initiatives that the city is working on. And as I've warned them, I usually tend to do political color when they give their talks. They have to, you know, be very straight about stuff. I don't. I can say anything I want to, which is much more fun, I think. But we're going to let you kind of drive this. I mean, we'll give you some basic information, but please feel free to ask questions, which can either be very specific kind of factual stuff, or, you know, if you'd really like to know the truth, then I'll tell you what really happened. Keep it more interesting. So again, a huge welcome. We're really delighted to see you here. It's great to have other cities visit us. You know, not only will you maybe learn something from us, but hopefully we'll learn from you as well, which is a big deal. This is how cities work. We learn from each other, both our good stuff and sometimes our mistakes as well. But it's really important for all of us to work with each other and communicate and know each other better.